Hello friends, it's Bonus here, and I can already imagine the backlash I might get for starting this kind of conversation, but I swear there's some beta minor phenomenon going on here because over the last week I can't get away from this darn topic. So here goes. The rule of cool is one of the worst things for role-playing. I know I woke up choosing violence today, I guess, but it has to be said. And so in this video, I'm going to explain what the rule of cool even is, why it's bad, and then what you can do instead to make better games. Let's get stuck into it. When we get together to roleplay, all of us have the expectation that we're about to tell a really cool story. We've got magic powers, godlike strength, superhuman reflexes. Rules in general just seem like such a drag next to this. So when we want our characters to have that epic moment, we call upon that one rule that's always on our side, the rule of cool, and invoke its name for the sake of telling a better story. Except it doesn't, and it never will. Let's define what the rule of cool is. In most media, the rule of cool is a trope that means the willing suspension of disbelief for the sake of a cool moment. In tabletop role-playing games though, it's often used as a way to allow some ridiculous stunt or unique interpretations of the rules for a potentially cool moment. But here's why it's bad. If you have to say something's cool in the first place, it's automatically not. People use the rule of cool to ignore the rules. They disregard class restrictions, don't bother with spell limitations, or use it to forgo dice rolls. All this does is create lazy players and lazy GMs. Now, don't get me wrong, I get it. Learning and then sticking to all of the rules presented in some systems like D&D 5th edition is incredibly hard, and every campaign whole hours can be wasted arguing over some specific wording of some rule or trawling through sage advice to find the right answer. But this is actually healthy for the hobby, as it provides an opportunity for everyone at the table to check in with one another and reassess the social contract you all signed up for when agreeing to play in that rule system. Using the rule of cool only breaks that contract and effectively diminishes every single other cool moment in your campaign. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds terrible to me. So what can we do instead? Well, tip 1, just change what you want to do to fit the rules. If you have a cool idea but it doesn't work within the rules, just tweak it until it does. By suggesting changes that work within the rules, you're providing a collaborative storytelling experience and coming up with something much cooler than breaking the rules ever could. Better still, you've challenged the table's creativity by prompting them to find good alternatives. If you're the GM, you could even go a step further and reward this kind of playstyle. Now, when something like this comes up later, you would have to argue against the rule-breaking precedent you set the last time, but instead, the players will know to think outside of, or better, within the box to create their epic role-playing moments. Tip 2. Instead of breaking the rules, find an alternative. When you want to do something cool, the rule you need is probably right under your nose. Somewhere between the general rules, the rules from your character class, the character's background, and any homebrew rules you use, there's probably a rule somewhere within them that you can use to get the same effect. For example, the robot character wants to project images from their brain? Great! There's probably a spell, class feature, or item that can do this anyway. Work with your table to find it. There's a saying after all, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if you don't need to break the rules, well, I guess you've already found your solution then. Tip 3. Copy. Copy what another player does, copy what the enemies do, just copy. If they're able to do it, the likelihood is you can find a way to do that too. Better yet, learn from sources outside your game. Watch live streams of other people's games, or immerse yourself in content that will teach you more about the hobby. Like this channel. By reading up on how other people use certain rules to make their games epic, you won't need to break the game to have a really cool scene, but instead can use what you learn from others to make some really memorable moments. You don't need the rule of cool to fix your games because it will only ever break them. But I promise you, keep watching videos like this, and the next time you have a player trying to invoke the rule of cool, you'll have an even cooler answer ready for them. And if you're looking for a head start, you should watch this video right here because it shows you how to use existing rules in epic new ways.